Hey, what's up? What's up? How's it going? Wow, I gotta dispel a whole bunch of things. First, this is levels 1 through 3, so if you're a beginner, stick around. We're going to the end of this book. I'm writing a book over the course of a week. This is Wednesday. Started on Monday. Chapters 9 through 12 today. Is it awesome or what? I'm the story sentence coach if you don't recognize me. Wow. Okay, so I gotta warm up. I'm still in Eskimo mode, but with a hoodie. And the sun is back. Look at that. Wow. Look. Sky. Blue sky. Well, it's cloudy all through November and December, which is rare for where I'm at. Usually it's like this every day, which is it's just beautiful. Even the cloudy days are beautiful because look, redwoods. Let's see. So I've got like 4 chapters to do in the next hour. Just blew a minute 30 seconds on the introduction. There's still more introduction to do, but that's what you do in a book. You introduce each chapter. Sometimes it's very suspenseful. Other times it's like filler, as a lot of new writers like to describe it. The low intensity scenes. But as you'll find out, there's no filler. It's always story. What you do all the time. So this is your problem, is that you think you don't know anything because you've been taught, right? Taught that you don't know anything. Bored to sin. What? No, bored to heck. No, bored to death. That was my problem when I was a kid in school. I could ace every test, couldn't do the work. It was so boring. And why? Why? Because you can write like 8,000 words an hour. This is what I do. I turn on this phone. I talk to you guys about the first 3 levels of story pattern for an hour, and sometimes it's a little over. It's like 8 to 10,000 words. 5 days later, Friday hits, I'm done with a 50,000 word book. If I go over the hour a little bit. It's just how the math works, like 166 words a minute. That's basically how we talk, at least how Americans talk. I thought I saw like a worm on the ground. It was just a leaf. That's the ideation thing. I'm out here in nature, and it's amazing how, what kind of ideas are going to come from that now. So there's something that, in my mind at least, I see something natural happening. Even just the reflections of the phone from the sunlight, and the reflections fall on the ground. They trigger connections in your head. There's a lot going on in your head that you don't know about. I was figuring it out. The brainwaves are like, there's like 10 peaks in brainwaves a second or something like that. So it's like, even if that's like if there's half as much, there's probably a tenth as much. No, there's probably half to a tenth or much or more going on. There's so much information visually happening. Look at what's visually happening around me. I'm on rollerblades. All right, this is Write a Book with Me. Man, I gotta start moving. I'm like 5 minutes in, and I haven't even confirmed the chapter number. It's chapter 9. How do writers learn writing? Hey, if you just showed up today, you know, it's like, it's almost like the start of the book, right? Okay, so live life to write. Yeah, this comes up often in the writing forums. Do I have to live life to write? And, you know, I always go back. I go back to when I was 5 or 6 years old. And it was clear. It was clear that I was bored to death with what they were teaching me. Right? I could have written a book back then. It would have been kind of hard to read. You know, how 5 and 6 years old kids write. Oh, I wrote a story every day. We would get a piece of paper that was blank on top and there were lines on the bottom. You draw your picture and you'd write your story. And so that's probably where it came from, because when I taught my first writing class to adults, I taught kids for a while, 10 years. And so when I made my first writing class for adults, it wasn't just about writing, it was writing and illustrating picture books. Live and learn. That's what I was doing when I was 5 and 6 years old. And I think everybody does that now. Okay. Everybody lives. No. I can't even read my own notes. That's terrible. Okay, so the notes get better. The notes definitely get better. But, oh my gosh, I can't read what that says. Oh, maybe I'll figure it out. Oh, okay. So here's your problem. Here's your problem. How do you learn writing? I didn't even think of that story about how to learn writing. I'm just thinking about it now. I just gave a story about when I was 5 or 6 years old, learning how to write and draw at the same time. And then, so here's the problem. You're living a life through story right now, but you can't articulate it. I'm like a broken record with that. And so you're living in like a jail. You're in this jail where people bore the heck out of you. And then if you try to share your writing, especially your novice writing, get laughed at, put down. The comments that are made make you want to throw out the writing, burn it. Don't do that. Yes, certainly don't do that. I've got some things that I wrote. I started off with Dungeons and Dragons when I was like 10 years old. Dungeons and Dragons is great because it's like the experience of life. You're in a situation and you react to it. And so the game, the Dungeon Master puts you in a situation and you have your character react to the situation. It doesn't really work so well when you try to show that in a story. Maybe I should try it again. Maybe that could be one of my books coming up. How Dungeons and Dragons is life, is storytelling. And then there's this video of me. I had this friend, his dad was like a TV show producer. And so he was testing out a new camera and he had us around, me and my friends, his son. Yeah, and then another friend. All my friends were named Bob. I don't know, I didn't choose them. And so there's a video of me saying that life was Dungeons and Dragons, we'd be in charge or something like that. It's funny. It's the storytelling pattern. You are in charge. Life's a little more than Dungeons and Dragons, though. Okay. So here's what you have to do. How to become a writer? You have to unlearn what you've learned about writing. It is hard. I even say, like, I'll say, three things a writer has to do. First, you need to learn the story pattern. It's opportunity, evaluation, and assessment. You can see that in the description below. That's the first thing you have to do to become a writer. The second thing you have to do is you have to read your situations that you're in all day long, every second you're alive, and write yourself into them or out of them. You react that way. You make this connection. I'm skating down the street. I'm talking to a phone. So when I skate down the street, my reaction is to talking to a phone. Yeah. Do I have to go to school for writing? Isn't that great? No matter where you are, read your situation and write yourself into it or out of it. That's fun. It's agency right there. It's something that should be taught to 5 and 6 year olds. Oh, and then I'm like looking through like writers forums, and there's this ad for this weight loss book that describes the journey of first you're in a situation where you want to lose weight, and then this is what your reaction should be to lose the weight. And guess what they're going to do? They're going to give you more situations for you to react to, and if you react in the right way, you'll lose the weight. That's fun. So the metaphor of weight loss for how to become a writer. And then you also have to, I think I'm ahead of myself, but I'll keep going. So you read yourself into every situation you read every situation that you're into, and then you write yourself into or out of it by your reactions. And that's how you can change your reactions. I guess that's a learning point there. There's 2 learning points then. This is new to me. I'm glad I wrote this book. So the other learning point is an assessment. Oh, okay. So there's 3 questions. The first question is, the opportunity question is, why do I do what I do? And then the evaluation is, how does this affect me personally, deeply? And then the assessment is, what matters the most? Okay? And so I sufficiently distracted myself. Hey! And not only did I distract myself, there's a dog coming, and I was on. So anyway, to end this part, and my third piece of advice: first you learn the story pattern, then you read and write your way through life every second, and then the last part is you learn everything about being a writer. But I think that's only that's your undercover job. You don't have to learn everything about being a writer, because the story pattern will teach you how to be a writer. I'll see you in the next chapter. Wait a minute. I think there's more to chapter 9. I don't know what to do. Good morning.